Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to my series of Ascendants. We will talk about the Capricorn Ascendant today. That's right, Barack Obama, Sri Ravi Shankar, both legendary Capricorn Ascendant. So is Matt Damon, well-known Hollywood actor, right? So what makes you a Capricorn Ascendant? So do not confuse this with your sun sign or your zodiac sign. You might be believing that you are a Capricorn Ascendant because of your sun sign, but you may not be a Capricorn Ascendant in Vedic astrology, which means you need your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth to establish which is your sign in Vedic astrology. So please click on the link mentioned in the description and find out what your rising sign or your ascendant or your Lagna, they're all the same thing, different names for the same thing. Okay, so once you figure out what your sign is and you have the number 10, just like this, in your first house, that means you're a Capricorn Ascendant. Okay, so let's get to know the Capricorn Ascendant. So since Capricorn signifies structure, discipline, and organization, and they are ruled by Saturn, okay, they are known to be very organized and structured people in pretty much everything they do, unless Saturn is very severely afflicted. These people usually are very patient, organized, and structured in what they do and in their approach towards life. Okay, so if they are in a job, these are people who would keep long-term jobs. They would be working for the same employer for 15-20 years. Okay, and if they have to quit their job, that's going to be a really big thing for them. These are not the people like the Leo Ascendant, okay, that they have an argument with their boss and they will just quit their job. No. Okay, these are people who take these kind of decisions very seriously, and since they're ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is a significator of your daily routine. Saturn is the significator of the clock, which means these people love to follow a routine. They would wake up at a certain time, they would eat at a certain time, and they will go to work or whatever they have to do in the day, and they would want to sleep or do sleep at a certain time. If they have weekly responsibilities, if they want to meet friends, they would have a certain day that they want to go meet friends, and they will go meet friends. These are also the people that will have they would follow the calendar, and they will have notes. They will have a notebook and a pen and a diary, and they would make notes about what they have to do next week. They will have 3-month plans, 6 months plans, and plans for the next year for themselves. Okay, because Saturn makes them very organized and structured. These are also fantastic employees to have. If you're running an organization, you would want people to be in the Capricorn Ascendant, to have this to display this kind of behavior, right? And since the second house, which is Aquarius, is also Saturn energy, they are also from a very disciplined and structured family background, which is what makes them structured and disciplined. It kind of makes sense here. Both their first house of their personality and the second house of their family is ruled by the same planet, Saturn. And since Aquarius also signifies the world outside the network circle, and to some extent people from the background of research, their families could be quite intelligent. Okay, they could be from a very disciplined background. They could be from the army background as well, because if you look at their fourth house is ruled by Aries. It's got the Mars energy, and to have the Mars and Saturn energy governing their two houses, which kind of indicate home or family, Saturn and Mars energy can make the family from a very disciplined and the army background. Okay, Now let's look at their third house. Their third house is ruled by Jupiter, and again the third house becomes very important because third house and their 12th house is also ruled by Jupiter. That is Pisces and Sagittarius, right? And the younger siblings of these people could be very spiritual, right? They may not get along really well with their younger siblings, especially because Jupiter and Saturn are not very well known. They are not known to get along really well. Okay. The interesting thing about their third house is we need to understand Venus to understand the third house a little bit. All right, because their Venus becomes a very important planet for the Capricorn Ascendant, because Venus rules their fifth house and rules their 10th house. Okay, which means the fifth house of creativity, the fifth house of children, the fifth house of any investments which is to do with speculation, like the stock market, creativity, fun. Okay, that and the 10th house of your karma, you know what you're supposed to do, your career. Okay, where Libra sits, that these two houses, they get exalted in the third house. Okay, and what is the third house? The third house is the house of your courage, your hard work. Okay, and since Capricorn signifies structure and discipline, they really excel with hard work, especially if their Venus is very well placed. If their Venus is exalted in the third house, I have seen some fantastic fashion designers, because third house is the house of communication and also the house of your hands. Okay, and for a fashion designer, the hands are very important, you know, to make something creative, to make this fantastic outfit. You need to be good with your hands, and you need to have the creative traits that Venus gives you. And Venus ruling the 10th house of their career and the house of their creativity, career and creativity getting exalted in the third house of hard work, dedication, courage, communication, and the house of hands. So I have seen a couple of fantastic fashion designers, artists, fantastic artists with Venus exalted in their third house for Capricorn Ascendant. Okay. They also, since Venus rules their 10th house and their 5th house, these guys are usually very creative if Venus is very well placed. All right. And since Libra sits in the 10th house of career, they could be very structured and organized business people. Okay, these are people who would completely plan out their business before they start, and the risk-taking factor for these people are very less, because again, the 5th house is ruled by Taurus, and Taurus is a very calculative sign. Taurus isn't a sign that takes unnecessary risks. Okay, so these people do not really appreciate gambling or speculation and stuff. If they invest in they would want to invest in mutual funds instead of just buying equities, because they are the structured and disciplined times, and Saturn also gives them a lot of patience. Okay, so they would if they want to start a business, they would probably save up money after 10-15 years of working for an organization, and then they would have a lot of fixed asset, because remember, their second house of accumulated wealth is also governed by Saturn, where Aquarius sits. So they are very good with saving money. They do not spend unnecessarily. Okay. Now let's look at their 4th house. The 4th house is ruled by Aries, and Mars and Saturn do not get along really well. Okay. This makes the mother a very authoritative personality for them in their homes. Okay, so if you're a Capricorn Ascendant, your moms could be super active. Firstly, they could be, they could be doing a lot of things. They could be physically very fit. Okay, and they would have great authority at home, right? And if we also look at Cancer, Cancer is sitting in their 7th house of their spouse and their business partnership. 7th house is the house of business. So the mothers could be very active business women as well. And when they come back home, they have great authority because they have lots of things to do outside their home, which may involve business, which may involve money making. Okay. We already discussed their fifth house. The fifth house is where Taurus sits. And whenever Venus controls a fifth house, they are Capricorn ascendants usually being so structured and disciplined. They could be romantics that they don't express. So it's very difficult to see through a Capricorn ascendant, because they may not show what they really are. So if you know someone who's a Capricorn ascendant at work, they could portray a very hard, the very, very strong personality outside, but they could be really very gentle and very soft and romantic from within. Okay, now let's look at their sixth house. Sixth house is where Gemini sits. All right, and Mercury rules that. So their enemies the enemies could be extremely communicative with them. They could have enemies at their workplace. All right, they could be someone that they need to resolve their enmity with communication. Okay, Mercury is also a significator of the sixth house, which means they should completely stay away from credit cards and loans and stuff. If Mercury is not well placed during a Mercury time period or a dasha, mahadasha, antardasha, they could get into debts. Okay, and these people would hate missing an EMI because they are very structured and organized, right? And if they do miss an EMI, it completely takes a toll on them because it kind of spoils their routine. Okay, so they need to be careful about taking any debts. It also involves your daily work. So they could have great communication with the people that they work with. Okay, their friend circle could be mostly with the people that they go to work with, because these people again are not the people. I know a Capricorn ascendant that did not miss work for 2 years in a row. So no sick leaves, no planned leaves. And not that they were really fond of their job. It's just that their nature. They also had OCD. This person also had OCD, but she just did not miss work. Okay. So, and her friends were mostly from her work. So Mercury governs that. So most of her communication would be what is happening at work. Oh, this person is doing that. The boss is doing that. We need to do that. Even outside work, she would talk to the people at work. Right. Now let's look at the seventh house. The seventh house, again, the Cancer energy of the seventh house is there. Now remember, their family has, the family and their family home. Let's look at the second house and the fourth house. So these are ruled by Saturn and Mars. These are known to be very strong-willed planets, right? So they look for emotion and emotional connection, which Cancer and Moon provides in the seventh house of their partners and their lovers, their husbands, their wives, their long-term relationships. That is what they're attracted to. Okay, because they probably haven't got that at home. They have got very strict discipline at home. Their mother has had the Mars energy of always, being courageous and, you need to go out in the world. So they probably look for that motherly feeling, male or female. If you're a female or if you're a Capricorn male, they would want that motherly affection from their partners. Okay. So they're attracted to a partner that would look after them. If they have a little bit of a cold or something, they would like their partners to be, oh, what happened to you? I want to come. I'll take care of you. I'll look after you. Don't worry. You're going to be okay. Just I'm here. Don't worry about it. So they want that protectiveness from their partners that their mothers could provide, their motherly emotions, right? But remember, Moon rules their seventh house. Moon rules Cancer. So there could be ups and downs in their relationships and their marriage, especially if Moon is not well placed. So if you're a Capricorn ascendant and you think your marriage and your relationship is a major part of your life, you need to look at the position of the moon. If moon is weak or moon is afflicted, they will have some turmoil related to their relationships. Okay, because Saturn, the slowest moving planet, which is Capricorn, which is you, the Capricorn ascendant, and moon, the fastest moving planet, is what they're attracted to. Okay, so their partners could be like, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that, but Capricorn will be, okay, let's do one thing properly. So like I said, opposites attract, so they are attracted to the motherly nature of the fast moving moon, emotional, and wherever there's emotion, there'll be ups and downs. So they like people with a lot of motherly instincts and this emotional behavior, and with that comes the ups and downs of the moon, fast moving nature of the moon, which causes problems in their relationship, because they are not like that. They are very patient people. Okay, now let's look at the 8th house. The 8th house is ruled by Sun, and Sun becomes a functional malefic, a very strong malefic for the Capricorn ascendant. Firstly, because Saturn and Sun do not get along at all, and secondly, Sun rules the 8th house. Okay, which means their egos could go up and down, because Leo rules ego. And like I said, it's hard to figure out Capricorn ascendants, because they could come across as very confident from the outside, but you get to know them, you will realize that they are probably not, they have a very low self-esteem. They might have ego problems with their partners as well. If Sun is not well placed, they would have ego problems with their partners, and because their in-laws is also seen with the 8th house. The in-laws could be from the political government background. The in-laws could have a government job, because Sun signifies all of that. The in-laws could be from some rich, very rich business background with political connections. Okay. So they need to also watch out for the position of the Sun, because Sun again becomes quite a malefic for the Capricorn ascendant, and they could have ego problems not just with their spouses, but in other aspects of their lives, like their work or their family. Okay, now let's look at their 9th house. Their 9th house is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury has given Virgo, the analytic sign of Virgo, the intelligent sign of Virgo, to deal with their 9th house of principles, the 9th house of long distance travel. Firstly, if you're traveling with a Capricorn ascendant, these are the people who would they cannot travel like the hippies. Like, they can't just land at one place. Oh, we'll see what to do where the place is. They would want to see, okay, we'll book a room, we'll go here, we'll go there, and we will book this place, and then we'll go there. They would have planned the next 7 days out of what they want to do. But their partners, if they're traveling with their partners, which is the moon energy, they will say, hey, you know what, let's not do that. We'll go see what it is, and we'll go where we want to. If we don't like to do that thing, we can do something else. But if we have booked the next 7 days, then we are slave to, we've become a slave to our plan, and we haven't seen and explored this place before. So that is the problem they have, right? They at times have trouble being too organized, and their partners and their friends will say, you know what, let's just do our own thing, and stop making a plan for everything, and let's just have fun. Okay, so they're very calculative about their long distance travel. They're also very calculative about their religious beliefs and their principles. Okay, they would, if they are looking at a religion, they would want to make it should make some kind of sense to them. They would want to analyze, okay, what is Christianity, what is Islam, what is Hinduism, what is Buddhism. Okay, and then make their own sense out of it. And usually they're very principles oriented, because they are very structured and disciplined, and they need principles to be structured and disciplined. Okay. Now let's look at their 10th house of karma, their career, which is ruled by Venus. Venus becomes a very important planet for them, and also a very benefic planet, because it's the ruler of the 5th house and their 10th house. Okay, 10th house is the karma, their career, And if they are into business, and Venus is good, well placed, they should go into some kind of creativity. They should sorry, they should go into something where women are the end users, because Venus is a female, signifies all the women, females. And 10th house Libra, which means business, 10th house of karma. Remember, Saturn exalts in Libra. So if you're a Capricorn ascendant and Saturn is in your 10th house, firstly, you should want to do your own business instead of working under someone. Doesn't mean that you will not prosper. You will do well by working for a company. But if your Venus is also well placed, that means you should look for something something to do with creativity, a business where women are the end users. Okay, you could be into some kind of cosmetic products. Okay, so they usually do well with business, because since they are so disciplined and structured, they don't give up. Remember, I told you they are very patient people. They plan things out. They are organized people. So if they are getting into a business, they are usually quite well funded. They have figured out this may not give me profit, or I would not break even for the first 2 years. Am I prepared for it? So they would have got these things figured out in their head. So if a Capricorn person is diving into business, they have pretty much done their homework, which is why you see Saturn will exalt in the 10th house of business, where Libra sits. And that's the exaltation point for Saturn. Right? So that's about their career. Now let's look at their 11th house. The 11th house is governed by Scorpio. Right? And what is Scorpio? Scorpio is the house of secrecy. Scorpio is the house of your incoming, 11th house is the house of your incoming gains, and the deep emotions of Scorpio, the secretive nature of Scorpio, the Martian energy of Scorpio goes to the 11th house of incoming wealth, their gains, their network circle, their friends. So Capricorn ascendants could be very, very secretive about their network circle. So these are the people who you will not find active on social media. So if you see them on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you will rarely see them post anything. But they might have another account where they want to see what, they are doing something else there. You might be friends with a Scorpio ascendant, but you may know nothing about their network circle. And that also could cause problems with their spouse. If their spouses are very inquisitive, they will say they will not know about their friend circle. They do not like to mix two groups of friend circles, which means if you are good friends with a Capricorn ascendant, you may have heard about his or her good friends or friends for years, but they have made sure that you've never met them. So they really believe in the whole fact that you don't make two of your good friends, or don't introduce your two friend circles together, because that doesn't work out. And they're pretty much right about it. Okay? Because then they have nothing else to talk about apart from you. Yeah, you make your two good friends meet. What do they talk about? They can talk about other things, common interests, but what is the biggest common factor between the two of them? And that's you. So when they have nothing else to talk about, they will start discussing you. And this is what Capricorn ascendants believe. They do not like to mix their friend circles, and even if they do, they don't really appreciate it. If you bump into their friends or someone that they know from work, okay, they will make sure that you don't get to meet them again, because they don't want to introduce their two groups or their spouses or their family. Their families to some extent, yes, because their family also is the home is also ruled by Mars, but they're usually very secretive. Okay. Also, they're secretive about their gains, where the money is coming in. Their family may not know. Their spouses do not know. Their friends may not know. They could have a secret source of income somewhere. You might see a Capricorn ascendant doing a daily job, but they could be investing somewhere and they could be getting great gains from there that no one knows, and only they know about it. Okay. So that's the Capricorn ascendant. So that was my analysis of the Capricorn ascendant. And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button And if you want to know more about Vedic astrology, stay tuned, and I will talk to you very soon. If you want a consultation or if you want to talk to me, go to my website www.swamisaptaparni.com. And thank you so much for your time, and you all have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.